Okay folks, this will be an interesting one, a little bit left of field, but we'll see how we can go to make it look really interesting. This will be a little bit left of field, I must say, not something you'd associate with this. I do want to make this into something really interesting out of something quite mundane. I do think maybe we could leave it on 100, but it is mundane. It's something that's broken, like a lot of things in life, that things get broken all the time and they become in the most part useless, and we're just going to make it something interesting before we dispose it. Had it sitting under my kitchen sink for a while, probably a couple of years or so. Let's see what it is that was sitting under the sink. It is a cutlery drainer, a draining rack for cutlery. You have it on the side of your metal draining rack, and this is for your spoons and your shit, and your forks and knives and shit. We're interested in the bottom of it, the dot with the holes. But basically, it fell apart on me, and I had to get a new draining rack. Surprise, surprise, money fuckers. Don't last. Plastic just deteriorated on me. Just heard a scratching noise, like some grit. I don't like that. But basically, yeah, it's useless now. It could still perhaps be used, but it's no longer attached to the draining rack that it was on. Now that looks interesting. It looks a bit minimalist. It looks like there's not much there. I'm going to try it again. But yeah, it's really a shame that these things don't last as long as they should. And I don't like that scraping noise. You can hear it. It's like a gritty sound. But I put a lot of gritty things on the machine anyway. Yeah, that looks interesting, but it's not what I was after. We didn't get as much in there. I do think this is the better one, even though it's a bit minimalist. I do think maybe we could try that again. I'm just going to try and clean off where that grit was. So this is not an easy one, folks, to be honest. That might have worked. Yeah, that looks better. There's a lot more to it. It still would have been nice if I had more of it, but I think we could work with that. Maybe make it into something really colourful. So we're just going to retire that. I think it will end up in the bin in landfill, unfortunately. So this is the one we're going to work with. Yeah, that looks interesting. It's a little bit minimalist, but we could still work with it. I think it's as good as it gets. I'm going to use this one as our next master copy. It's a very wet day today, folks. The sun's not out, obviously not. It's very wet. Yeah, that looks interesting. It looks nice, even though it does look a bit on the minimalist side. maybe we could use this. Maybe we could take a section out of it and make it into something. I don't know what to make of it, folks. That's a good question. Going to try and enlarge, so I'm just going to put this one aside and we're going to work with this one. So we're just going to see how big we're going to make it. I got a feeling that we're not going to work it like that. We're going to try another one. We're going to make another version of this, another iteration, as you like to say, as I'd like to say. Yeah, that looks really quite interesting. That looks almost like a skull. That looks really like something very interesting. And even here looks nice. Skull. I wonder if we could make that into something, or maybe we could stretch it out and just keep the voids as part of it, because this could look good. Stretched along the horizontal. Yeah, why not? Right, why not? Why not stretch it? So I wonder how big we're going to end up stretching it. So it's probably going to be on the horizontal about 260, and the vertical will be just 104. So we're just going to put this aside. It does look a bit like a skull, to be honest. It really does. It's an interesting piece. It's a bit of a curio, you could say. Let's see how we go. Amazing what you can get off a mundane object like that. We'll soon find out and see how it goes. Now I don't think we've stretched it quite enough, but it looks really interesting, to be honest. It really does. I do think a little bit more extra stretch would be in order, but it looks like it's come to life being stretched. I do think we can stretch it a bit further. No, we don't want that. We want 104. I don't know what happened there. Careless. You can't blame Konica Minolta for that. 290 for the horizontal. Okay, still looks a bit short. Still looks like it could be stretched. I was thinking 300, but my intuition was telling me 290. So I think 300 may be the way to go, to be honest. Let's see how we go with going from 290 to 300. So yeah, that's our 300, so that's a bit more stretched out. So that's our 300% job, you could call it. I do think maybe a bit further there but maybe we could leave it there. So that's really interesting how that's turned out. So that's our other piece, second piece to our design. Sorry, I didn't show you me lining it up properly. I just have a habit of pointing it like that, which is really annoying. So it's a real wet day today, folks. Got my shopping and shit done. And my laundry, got that done as well. So I got the shit done for a few more days. Okay, let's see how we done this. It is a little bit, in some ways, minimalist in some respects. It's had a very minimalist beginning. Those little round dots in the plastic. Anyway, that looks really quite interesting. I think now we can call this demo quits.